So I've been doing YouTube for a while, and funnily enough, I was going through my creator studio the other day, and I was like, I wonder how many videos I've uploaded since I've started my channel. Funnily enough, I actually forgot how long ago I started it, and it was over 5 years ago. So here is my channel. It's still the header has changed like a million times in the time I've had the channel. The icon has changed a few times as well, but this is my very first video. This was uploaded 5 years ago, nearly 6 years ago now.
Bandicoot.
So that is the first video I have ever uploaded. Now, what's interesting is I uploaded this on September 30th, 2015, nearly 6 years ago. And since then, I have been on and off sparing for 6 years, almost. But the reason I'm making this is because this is a very special video. This is my 200th video that I have uploaded to YouTube. Now, I want to say there are more videos that I've made but haven't uploaded because I've either not been proud of it, or something's gone wrong, or it just hasn't turned out the way I'd like it to. I held myself to an extremely high standard when I first started because I wanted to be like some of the other YouTubers that I looked up to, and looking back, that was a big mistake on my part because I held myself to a really stupidly high standard. Now, this quality is shocking, let's be honest. Now what's interesting is when I started YouTube, I had a really crummy red laptop that I borrowed from, well, not really borrowed, that I got from school when I was in high school. So I was 16 when I first started, and I'm 22 now. Yeah, it's weird to think about. So this face cam was actually my old iPhone 5. I think it was an SE at the time, a 5 SE, and that's what I used for Facecam. And I kid you not, I had a desk set up, I had my laptop, and because I didn't have a second monitor, I couldn't see if anything was recording. So I had my monitor. I was using Bandicam at the time as well. So the reason why up here you can see, if I go right to the very beginning, you can't really see it, but the reason why this was not turned on at the very start was because that was my phone being synced at the no, it wasn't that. It was my phone wasn't recording at this point, right? But if you can see behind it, I don't know why I'm pointing at my monitor. If you can see behind it, you can see the Bandicam control center. So that's what I used to monitor my recordings, to make sure that the screen was being picked up and being recorded, and it was continuous. There wasn't any delay, or there wasn't anything going wrong. And for audio, I used the microphone on my iPhone. Now, these days, I don't use my iPhone anymore. I use a Canon XC10, which is extremely overkill. I don't recommend using this type of camera for Facecam only, because it's just overkill to the extreme. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because if any of you are thinking about starting a channel, this is pretty much all you need. You don't need fancy equipment, you don't need anything. All you need is a decent computer that will get you going, and this. Because the quality on these phones, like smartphone, whether it's Apple, Samsung, or even Oppo for that matter, the quality that these cameras have is amazing. And you can't go wrong with this type of thing. So I used my iPhone to begin with, and then eventually I stopped using Facecam because of and the reason why I used Facecam right off the bat was because I wanted people to know who I was immediately. I didn't want to have the stereotypical YouTuber that has the face reveal after a certain amount of time. But the reason why the quality is so bad was because I didn't understand the fundamentals of having your recordings match the quality of your camera. I know that now, and I still make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but I didn't know at the time. So this was recording, I believe, at 30 FPS at 420p or something like that, because that's what the game was. And this was, you know, iPhone quality levels. I had no soundproofing. It was in my bedroom along the south. It was at the south coast of New South Wales when I first started as well. So my friend Crescent Storm had her channel. I was like, I think I could do something like that. So me and my mate Chris, or Mini Clank as he's commonly known as, we got together. We were like, right, what do we need to get started? So we looked into screen recording software, we looked into cameras, we looked into audio recording software, and we started our channels roughly at the same time. I think his was a couple days after me. But yeah, so now if we go through the channel, you can see that we've got, I started off with one series and it was going to be the same thumbnail every time. And you can see in the thumbnail that I actually have the old Phoenix that I was using, which is just a tattoo design that I pulled from Google. And then I wanted to get a bit more creative with my thumbnails, so that's when I started doing like really, really cringeworthy thumbnails like this. And then this type of thing. And this was, I don't know what I was thinking with this. Again, I was 16 at the time. So I was doing Crash Bandicoot 3, and then I was like, I want to start a new series, but I was broke. Like, I had no money. So I found free games on Steam, and I did 2 episodes of Electric Highways. That was the only decent game that I saw that I was like, I could probably do a series out of this. I do want to finish this, but I mean, it's so old at this point. It just be this weird juxtaposition. And then I must have had like, I think I only had 15 subscribers when I did this vlog, but I was like, holy god, I wanted to be consistent, so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to be taking a break for a little bit. And you can see in the background of this video, and this was still using my old iPhone as a vlogging camera, but if YouTube wants to cooperate, there we go. So we were moving house, and that's why this is a nightmare. I had to pull the shelving unit off that was above it. So this was my setup. No joke, it was, like, behind my head was where I had my camera, and this was it. I was watching, what was I watching? I think it was GTA 5 Online with Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, MyScum, and Lord Minion 777, because I loved that series that they did. And funnily enough, Mark, Jack, and Wade were the 3 people that I kind of looked up to in terms of content creators. I hadn't discovered the Game Grumps at the time. I hadn't discovered Cat Icarus or anything like that. Or like PewDiePie, I had a stigma around PewDiePie because like everyone follows him. And after watching a couple of his videos, I'm like, I can see now why people follow him. So it was funny. I was like, I should probably tell people, but my intention was to have this as a career, and that's what held me back, was because I wanted this to be a career. And that is the worst thing that you can do as a creator starting out. If you have the intention of having this as your career, unfortunately you've failed, because you can't do that. You have to start this out as a hobby. If you start it as a career, you have to work hard at it, yes, and it is doable, but unfortunately you failed because you've got that mindset and you've held yourself to a stupidly high expectation level, and you can't do that to yourself. So going back through my videos, this was one video that I was like, I started to get a bit creative with it, and then I was like, maybe I can pull game screenshots and have that as my thumbnail. And funnily enough, I believe from here up until, what would it have been? It would have been up to, I'm trying to think, but I believe it would have been up to this one, up to Grand Theft Auto, that I was using Publisher, like Microsoft Publisher, for my thumbnails, which is why a lot of them don't look too great. Some I think I was still using Publisher, and then I started using Photoshop properly and started understanding Photoshop better. So yeah, then I finished Crash Bandicoot 3. Funnily enough, I didn't notice this until I had edited. So I had an issue with Bandicam, if this wants to play.
G'day everyone, my name is Morgan.
Alright, so audio sucks. because I think I was using a headset at the time, a Turtle Beach headset with a built-in mic, and my audio mixing was shocking, but I was using a Microsoft Media Encoder to edit my videos at the time, and that just wasn't great. So, what happened? Yeah, here, so with this video, there was an issue with this laptop because it wasn't designed or built for what I had intended, like gameplay and recording at the same time. If you look down here, you can see like there's gameplay and then it cuts to credits, because the problem that this laptop had was that it would keep running, but every now and then all the programs would freeze, but it would act normal. It would be like, nothing's happening, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. It would act normal, but it would freeze, and that's why in this one...
Okay, so now here comes the random bit of this game, and the fact that
and you can hear it as well. Like, that wasn't my edit. That was the capture. That was Bandicam freezing and then resuming on the credits. And I didn't realize this because I was so like, I want to get videos out. I got to push myself to do better. I got to get videos done and going. I didn't realize until I had uploaded the video that this is what happened, because I don't think I even had. I did have an outro. Okay, so I had an outro. This was shocking. I had an outro, but my goal was that it was just the video, my voice, and then the outro right at the very end. And that's how I recorded my videos. That's how I edited my videos as well. I didn't pay attention to everything in between because I was like, I want to get videos out. I got to do more. And that's when, I started to be like, I need to pay attention to what I edit. So I started being a bit more thorough with my editing. I still made mistakes because it was either like, I don't want to play. I wasn't so much I don't want to play. It was I don't want to edit, because at the time editing was just such a tedious process for me, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I started a series called Flash Game Sundays, and that did all right. So, and then FDD was an interesting one. It was literally FDD. It was a game I played on my when I was young, and again, I was recording this on my laptop. But the funny thing is, I had a second monitor now, so I could actually do more. I could have my laptop as like I guess you could say as like a monitoring type thing, where I could keep an eye on recordings and then have the main monitor as my primary monitor, my primary screen. But you can see up here in the background, I had so many things installed on this laptop still. And like I had down here, I had games that I wanted to do for a series, or games I was playing in my spare time. I had Flash games, and then up here was all Steam games. I had Five Nights at Freddy's, I had Five Nights at Candy's. So they were broken up into Steam, Steam, Game Jolt, GOG, and then whatever. So it was basically anything that didn't fall into these categories would fall into this. And then it was screen capture, emulators. Yes, I used emulators, and whatever else was there. So Halo Combat Evolved I got from a friend of mine, and that's why I started doing the Halo series. And then for some reason I was like, I think a fun Flash game would be FTD. And then this is just what it turned out to be.
Desktop Destroyer, or Desktop Killer, but I like to call it FDD. But,
I remember playing this when I was very, very young. This was like a Windows Vista game, and I was like, oh my god, this is still a thing. It was bizarre. I was like, how is this a thing? I don't get it. And then for some reason, because I wanted to be a journalist. I am a journalist. I'm qualified. I'm doing my bachelor's degree now, but I got accepted into university really early when I was 17. So a friend of mine, Mini Clank, and I, we were sitting down together. We were having a chat, and then we got really deep. It's in conversation. We're just like, hold on, what if we recorded this and had this as a series? And he was all for it. So I was like, let's do it. So we started the series Let's Talk. And this is when I started to dabble a bit more into Photoshop. So that's how that started. And it was like, and then we recorded 3 of them. We recorded 2 of them. We had a third one, but we never did it because by the time we both got around to uploading it, I believe, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I believe at the time we didn't do it because it was just out of date. So we're just like, maybe it's best if we do this, you know, when it's necessary and when it's in date. And then I started to do it. I started to, you know, pitch it to my classmates at uni, and they were all for it. So that's why there was these 2. I want to bring this back, but I want to do it over on Our Shout Media, which is my news channel. And then I started to drop off really early on. And then I tried to get back into it, and it didn't work. So I don't know. And then I don't remember why. I think I was experimenting with camera angles, but I think this is weird to me because We Need to Talk and the New Year's vlog were filmed at 2 different houses. The funny thing is, this was originally a live stream. If I'm not mistaken, this was at my sister's house. I don't remember how I did this. I think I had already moved to my sister's house, and then I did the vlog when I visited my aunt and uncle. I think that's what happened. Yeah. And I still had things here. I don't recall. I don't know how I did it, but I must have done it somehow. So then I started to... Yeah, so that's confusing to me. I must have done... Oh, wait, no. I recorded this before I moved. That's why. And then I uploaded it later on. And I was looking for a place to move as well. So yeah, the timeline is a little off, and I do apologize for that. It's very confusing. So, once again, wait a minute. This was the stream. Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know why this is uploaded before all of this. This should not be here. This should be down here somewhere. Yeah, so I started to drop off because I was doing uni. I was working full-time as well. And then I hit 50 subscribers, and I was so happy. And I scribbled it into my notebook at uni, and I was like, I'm going to use this as thumbnail. And then I found an old Cards Against Humanity video, and then I kept going and doing, and then Ravenhurst. Ravenhurst was interesting because I wanted to create a detective persona for Ravenhurst, and I did. And for some reason I landed on the name Pacidophilus. I was like, what's the stupidest name I could think of? But actually recording it turned out fine, but editing the video, for some reason it kept cutting out after 5 minutes, even though I had a 15-minute episode. And I couldn't figure out why it was happening. I re-recorded it many a time, and it still wouldn't work. So it was around this time that I was like, I'm going to start investing in a new computer. So it was around, yeah, well, it must have been around this video that I started to invest in a whole new computer, full-on PC desktop, so I didn't have to use my laptop anymore, because I was getting sick of it, and it was just starting to really be shite. So I did that. I put it on pause for a few weeks, I guess. And then I went back into GTA, Vice City, and then I went back to Ravenhurst because I was like, oh my god, everything's working fine now. And then I stopped Vice City because it just wasn't getting views. And I kept going with Ravenhurst because I was like, I want to continue with Ravenhurst. So I did. And then a quick update, and then this was when my depression started to kick in. This is when I started to feel really upset. I was in a job that I hated. And I was there for quite some time as well. I was at a job that I hated. My mental health was just giving me shit because I was putting a lot of pressure on me. Because I would check back on my channels like, I haven't uploaded in months. My god, what are the people thinking? But I still had less than 100 subscribers, so I don't know why I put so much pressure on myself to do better, I guess. So I got out of the funk for a bit, enough to get me through. But when I got to the PC project, this was the first video I'd ever edited, uploaded, recorded, and done all that on my computer. Funnily enough, this video I recorded it on my iPhone 6, and it was, from memory, nearly, oh god, I think I'm exaggerating, but it was nearly 3.5 hours worth of footage that I managed to shrink down into half an hour. I don't know how, but I did it. And then we come down here, and then this is when I started to dabble with more hard-hitting games, because I had a capture card and I could do more stuff. I could do better. So Mini Clan Chris, I'm just going to call him Chris, was like, why don't we do Prop Hunt just to test out your graphics card and test out your computer and see what it's like, because it's not heavy on your computer, it's nothing like that. It's pretty decent and it won't stretch out your hardware. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We had so much fun with it. I had never raged more in my life with that guy. I wanted to strangle him. Now this is an interesting video. This video I did with Lauren, who I was actually interning for at the time, and one part of her internship was that I had to interview her. And I said, look, I have a YouTube channel, I mainly do gameplay content, but I want to dabble in news as well. Are you okay with me uploading this video onto my channel? And she said, yeah, absolutely. I actually want to see how it would turn out. So she gave me the footage, I edited it, I put it up, and I sent it to her, and she's like, this is really impressive. And even during the interview, if you guys have watched it, you know, she said that, you know, she couldn't fault me for my interviewing skills. And I was so proud of myself, because I was like, my god, I can actually do things, because I always underestimated myself. Now this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. So this was around the same time that I was dabbling a bit more into Photoshop and like thumbnail creation and trying to be a bit more creative with my thumbnails. So if I go to here, these are all of the thumbnails. I've kept every single one of them, much the same as I have kept every single video that I have ever uploaded. There's so many videos, and it's a lot. So, much like I've kept every single thumbnail, I've also kept every single video that I've ever uploaded and edited on this computer. There's 112, but I have more thumbnails than I do videos, and that's because a few of the videos that I did, or a few of the thumbnails, either didn't end up happening, or I just, you know, made thumbnails for videos that I didn't edit on this computer. So, you know, things like that. So I'm going through every single one of them. Now, I'm going to spoil something, but I'm bringing back the 30-minute Hour of Power, because I rewatched the first episode. I'm just like, I had so much fun making it, and editing it was actually delightful, because it was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to switch between two different cameras and figure out how this one will work, this one will tie into this point of view and all that. I had so much fun making this video. So, and yes, my background is Ruby, don't judge. So this is all set in alphabetical order, but I remember I rewatched this and I was like, I need to bring this back. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring back the Hour of Power. So we got another one. I can't remember when it was, but if you've noticed, in a lot of my thumbnails, I actually have my Phoenix, the icon, hidden somewhere in the thumbnail. And that is for a very good reason. My thought process behind it was, if this was fun as well. This Hour of Power, or whatever you want to call it, was actually really interesting, because it was like, it's the Australia Day special. I got to do something interesting for this. So the most Aussie thing I could come up with was pavlova, but I couldn't make a full pav, so I made mini pavlovas, and for some reason I had half an orange. I had half an orange on the plate for decoration, and I could have done something with it, but I did what I could at the time. So the reason why the Phoenix is in most thumbnails is because that's my watermark. That's how I identify it as mine. Among Us was interesting. I jumped on the Jacksepticeye Discord, and people were playing Among Us, and it's like, are you guys alright if I record this and post it on YouTube? And everyone's like, go for it, we don't care, we actually want to see it. So that's why and this was really, really shit. And I was like, how am I going to thumbnail this? I tried my best. but ultimately it didn't work. And then it got to the point when I was thumbnailing that I was like, what if I got the best screen grab from what I was recording on screen, and also the best face to go with it? And that's when these types of thumbnails started to happen, because it's like, what's the clickbait with the best of the web don't laugh challenges? It's like, what's the clickbaitiest thumbnail I can think of? And that's why. So the bird ended up being part of the environment as well when I did thumbnails, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it seem like the phoenix was part of the environment. And it wasn't so much look for it and you'll see it. It was more so that here's a fun little Easter egg. And then it just became like, what can I put this on that makes it seem like it's already part of its environment? And that's why you can see it. Sometimes it's blended into the background. Sometimes it's on like an item, like Engine's rocket head, for example. God, look at my stubble. Ugh, it's gross. But there are some thumbnails that don't have it. And then with the game logo, I also wanted to have that as part of the background. So that's why you'll see like characters are in the foreground when the logo is erased or, you know, non-existent. You know, it's been partly erased, or that was my intention, to have it like, let's have this in the background as best as possible and have everything that's major in the foreground. So that's why Crash, Coco, and what's his name? I forget the mask's name from Crash 4, but that's why they're all in the foreground, and the bird, the phoenix, and the logo are in the background. These were, I don't know what I was thinking with these. I think these were just for fun. And then we get into more recent territory. Again, these are all in alphabetical order, but you can see like the bird's down here on the lawn in front of the Griffin house. He's on the wall behind the nurse and Peter. He's non-existent in this one. He's on the studio wall behind Brian. Like, this is what I wanted to do. He's behind Pete, and then you've got the evil bird. I don't know what I was thinking with the evil bird. I had an idea. It kind of worked, but it also kind of didn't. This was interesting. This wasn't a screen grab. These were images that were just pulled from Google, and I sort of mix and match them to make them my own. And this, I have to admit, is probably the most creative use of making a thumbnail, because my arm acts as the border between my face cam and the game image. This was when I was like, the bird has to be a part of it. And this is the first and only video I did of Fortnite, thank God. But the bird became my watermark, and then it dabbled into like, if it's going to be my watermark, let it be a part of the background. So then we get into Futurama territory, and then it's like, there are some thumbnails that I can't put the bird in because it just doesn't work, or there's some that's like, how am I going to incorporate it? Because I know what to do, but I don't know how to get it. So I started dabbling in warping, like warping in Photoshop and all that. The bird's not, the phoenix is not in here because I couldn't figure out a spot for it. Again, not in here because I couldn't think of a spot, but now that I look at it, there's this negative space in here that I could have used. So a lot of my thumbnails are screen grabs from the game, and it's just the logo plastered over the top to be part of the background, and then my face in front of it. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy, oh, that was a nightmarish game. So then there's another one. You can see that there's a Christmas bird, like the Christmas phoenix, because why not? They gave him frosted wings and like frosted tail feathers. It was fun. And then we get into this. I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I didn't have my face at the time. But this was the first instance of me warping the phoenix to make it seem like it was part of the environment. And I didn't know what I was doing. So that's why his wing is like lower than the other one. It's very interesting. And then I got increasingly, I wouldn't say increasingly better, but I got significantly better at warping. And then I made him part of the roof. And I was like, no, he has to blend in. So that's why I was like, I'll fade him out slightly. Not there, but like, where's it? Here. So I had him fade out slightly. Even though he's part of the environment, it still has to be like watermark-ish. And then I was like, whatever, I'll just throw him in. It was part of the wall here, part of the background. This was fun. This was actually really fun to do. So it was, because I saw the banner and I was like, I've got an idea. So I made it seem like it was an old like stencil drawn phoenix that was on the banner. And that was interesting to do, because a lot of it either didn't work or couldn't work, or just physically wasn't possible, but I made it work, and I'm very proud of myself for doing it. That took way too long to do. And this, I don't know what I was thinking with this, because like he's partly there and he's partly not, and then he's like, his head's cut off because of the window, and he's hidden behind the lava. He's non-existent. He's down here on the floor, part of the nether portal wall, non-existent. Up here, over here, somewhere here. Okay, this was interesting because I remember making these thumbnails because it was a live stream. So I had this thumbnail, and then I still had Photoshop open. Thank God I did. And then Chris and I were like, you want to play Gmod for a bit? And I was like, I don't want to start a new stream. Let's just continue on from it. So I did. And then that's when I was like, okay, I need to fix the thumbnail. So I quickly whipped up the thumbnail and just put in Gmod prop hunt and left the rest of Minecraft as it was. I was like, thank God for that. The start of the first prop hunt video that we did, the bird was non-existent because I was like, I don't think I need it. And then by the third episode, I was like, I'm going to put in my bird. I'm going to put in the phoenix and see what happens. So yeah, as time went on, it just became more and more integrated into the background. Sometimes, like, I'd sometimes forget where I put him. This was just I still have the camera, but it was a really old Panasonic camcorder that I found, and I asked my sister if I could borrow. She said yes, and I was like, sweet, I'm gonna borrow this. Really bad quality. And then we played Rocket League, and yeah, so this was fun. So this is the first time I actually wanted to try and incorporate it into the backdrop as much as possible, and this works really, really well, like surprisingly well. And then we get into Subnautica Below Zero. I didn't know where to put the phoenix for this one, so I just did a double, and that's that. Phoenix is here, hidden in the ice. I actually made a blue phoenix for this series, but I never used it. I completely forgot about it. Doesn't exist. He's over here. He's down here. He's like the Spy Penguin's badge of honor. And then this is when we get into recent territory. So we've got the phoenix up here on the cargo ship, behind Marguerite, on the what do you call it? Oh, the Snowstalker's, fur. This is when I started having issues with rendering from my recordings on OBS, because I was recording my camera and the game at the same time on OBS. That's what I believe caused the issues, and that's why rendering looked shocking. And then for the part numbers, I was like, maybe I can incorporate them somehow into the background too. But it just looks stupid because you get so used to one thing and then you try something else, it's like, this doesn't work. This was hard to actually do. This was hard to put together because it was like, there's so many things that could be in the foreground, and because the quality was shocking, it didn't work out in my favor. This, I had to pull this image off the internet, off Google, because what I was referring to was almost non-existent in the void. So I had to make my own, and then we get into better looking thumbnails because I figured out issues, sorted out problems, and then tried to make the Phoenix blend into whatever it was at the time. And then sometimes he's non-existent because it's like I can't find a spot, and then he's in the background just floating along, and then he's part of Alan's chess piece. We get to hit and run. Bird is non-existent within any of these thumbnails except for this one, because by this time I was like, oh wait, I haven't put my Phoenix in. And then this was the one and only episode I did of Spider-Man. I want to get back into it and just do more of it. So this was around the same time that this must have been, but a lot of people have asked me like, what is there's this dark square in the center of your bird? I was like, there's a reason for it. So the bird is like, on the garage door, and this is just the sticker that's over the top of it. And then he's up here in the background, he's on here on the server. And then I was like, okay, with Subnautica, I need to make it interesting. So I made the bird a constellation, but what I didn't realize was that constellations aren't exact. So by the time I got to the tail feathers, I was like, maybe I just do lines for the tail feathers. It still doesn't look great, but I made it work. And this Subnautica was actually the series that I was like, okay, the logo is going to be up the top permanently, and it's going to be part of the background, and anything that's important will be pushed to the foreground. somehow. So I did that, and then the bird became part of the background, and I still kept to what I was saying. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And then I was like, I'm just going to make it work as best as possible. This is my favorite thumbnail ever. It's not perfect, but it's my favorite for one reason. And if you look carefully, you can see why. Because he had all these artifacts. Now, this one had, I think it was the nanobots in it, so you couldn't see them. But to me, it looked empty, so I was like, I have an idea with this. So I was dabbling around with Photoshop, and I came across the greatest idea ever. And I made the Phoenix 3D, and it was just this 3D model of the bird. And I placed it in this pod. I was like, this is amazing. I'm so proud of this. But you can tell I didn't really pay attention, because even though the logo is part of the background, you can still see how it, oh god. You could still see how it was, not completely part of the background, because it's still poking through the chambers. But I was so proud of this. And by the time it was released, I was like, oh my god. And then we get into, this never happened. Part 18 was never a thing. This was a backup thumbnail in case I did go over to 18 parts, but thankfully I never had to do it, because I made this really, really early on. And there you go. There's all the thumbnails. And then going to the videos, like, you can see where some of them are existent, where some of them aren't. And yeah, I'm impressed at how far I've come. And then, from here, it's all changed. And you've probably seen, like, not the videos that have recently gone up aren't here, but that's because I'm recording this after realizing it's my 200th. This video is my 200th, because I've edited all the other Family Guy and Futurama videos that have come out, and it dawned on me as I was editing that this is 200. So I'm going to do something for 200. And yeah, there you go. So from this point, as you've all known and seen, about a month, 2 months ago, was when I started being a bit more prolific and a bit more consistent with my upload schedule. I got to, where did I get to? I think I got to about here. I got to this one. And because I wasn't uploading every day, at this point, go away, Uber. At this point, I was like, it was lockdown, right? And because I don't live with my mum, she lives with me, because we're renting together. So this was when I was like, this was around the time that New South Wales announced its lockdown for the next 3 months, or I think it was just for the month, just to see what happened. And I was devastated, but I was still working. And then I had unfortunately lost my job around this time as well. So I was like, what am I going to do? And then because I was still doing this, I got to this video, and I was like, I think fate has handed me this on a silver platter. Why don't I take it? So that's when I was like, I can record, edit, and upload day after day after day after day. And it started going well. And then I had this video, and then it just all went to hell. And then I fixed it, and then I just got back into it. And ever since, I've been uploading daily. And I'm really, really happy. I'm proud of myself, actually, for doing this, because, I love doing YouTube. I'm never going to get bored of it. And I started this channel mainly to play old school games. And that's what I'm going to do. Like, from here on out, I'm playing old school games. So I love doing this, and I'm going to miss this. Because YouTube has always been in a bit of a spiral. But if YouTube ever does fall upon itself, I will miss this, and I will miss the support that you guys have given me. And I love doing this. It's good fun, despite the fact that, funnily enough, this video, 3 copyright claims, not strikes, I need to stop saying that, but 3 copyright claims before it had even finished processing. So, Family Guy is a series that I'm so confused about, because I don't know if I want to keep playing it because of its tone, because of the copyright claims that are associated with it, but I want to keep playing it because it's just so much fun. But I've been rambling on for this video for far too long, so I'm going to leave this here. I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. If so, let me know in the comments, and we might do another one of these at 400. Who knows? I mean, 400 is very easy to come to, so let me know if you guys want me to do this again at 400 videos, or even 500 videos, and we'll make it happen. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for sticking with me through the 6 years of sporadic nature that has been this channel, and I can't wait to do it for another 6. It's been so much fun. It's still so much fun to do, and I'm never gonna get bored of this. It's good fun, and I love this, and I love all of you guys for all your support. Thank you so much, especially in the recent months since I announced myself as gender fluid. You guys have been very supportive, and I thank you so much for it. Like, really, honestly, I'm truly blessed to have a great community such as you. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for tuning in for this video, and until next time, I'll see all of you in the next one. See yous.